Welcome back, boys and girls. Remember, in order to draw a conclusion, readers use story clues and what they already know to discover what is not directly stated in the text. Today, we will focus on using text clues and background knowledge to draw a conclusion to describe a character's feelings, traits, and actions. Reminder, when we are talking about character feelings, feelings happen during a moment or event and often change quickly. Sad, mad, happy, and tired are some examples of feelings. Traits are used to describe a character's personality over time. Sometimes a character's personality may change from the beginning to end of a story, but this does not happen very quickly. Some examples of traits are hardworking, responsible, and kind. When we think about actions, we are referring to something the character is doing. Often we might draw a conclusion about why a character is doing something or use clues from the text or illustrations to figure out the actions of the character. Today, we are going to read Big Bouffant, written by Kate Hosford and illustrated by Holly Clifton Brown. In this story, Annabelle doesn't want the same boring hairstyle that all the other girls have. Let's read to draw conclusions about Annabelle's feelings, traits, and actions. On the first day of school, Annabelle sighed. She looked around the room, shook her head, and cried, "Ponytails and braids! Ponytails and braids! I don't see anything but ponytails and braids! This class needs some fashion. This class needs some fun. I'll find a hairdo to impress everyone." Let's take a moment to think about what we have read and seen in the illustrations so far. I've read that Annabelle sighs, she shakes her head, and she cries out, "Ponytails and braids." I can see that she has a sour or discontent expression on her face. I know from my background knowledge or schema that when someone is sighing, shaking their head, and has an unhappy expression on their face, they are experiencing a negative feeling. The author does not directly tell me, but by using clues from the text and my own knowledge, I can conclude that Annabelle is feeling annoyed or irritated that everyone has the same hairstyle. She skipped back to her house and twirled in the door as a picture of her grandmother fell to the floor. Annabelle stopped quite suddenly to stare at her grandmother's marvelous tower of hair. "Oh, please, Mom, please, can I have a bouffant? A big bouffant is all I really want." "How about a bob or an elegant bun? If it's not a bouffant, then it won't be fun." "How about a ponytail with corkscrew curls? I don't want to look like all the other girls." In this section, I've read that Annabelle doesn't want to look like the other girls. And in these pictures, I can see that Annabelle's lips are in a frown and her eyes look very sad. She rests her chin in her hand. I know this is how someone looks when they are upset. I also know that when someone is trying not to be like everyone else, they want to stand out in order to be special. I can draw the conclusion that Annabelle feels sad or depressed, very down, that her mom is trying to give her a hairstyle like the other girls. She wants to be unique. Annabelle ran over to the kitchen shelf. "If I want a bouffant, I'll just do it myself." Annabelle smeared butter and honey on her head. She pulled and she piled until her face turned red. When she leaned to the left, Her hair slithered right, but Annabel kept styling with all her might. She added in ribbons, then sparkles and a bow. She added in ornaments, row after row. She stood back and wondered, is it too much? Perhaps what I need is a finishing touch. But Annabel's bouffant was beginning to melt. This is certainly the stickiest that I've ever felt. I just can't believe this is happening to me. Help! I think I'm having a hair emergency. After a shower, several cookies, and a rest, Annabel decided on the plan she liked best. Please, Mom, could we make another bouffant? I suppose, Mom said, if you really, really want. In this part of the text, Annabel decides to make the bouffant on her own. She does this by adding in butter, honey, and oils. Then she adds in decorations until it melts. She turns again to her mom, begging her to help her. I know that when you don't give up on something, even when things don't go your way, you are a very determined person. I can draw the conclusion from Annabel's actions that she is very determined. This is one of her traits. Let's keep reading. On Tuesday at school, when Annabel appeared, a lot of girls giggled and a lot of girls sneered. But Annabel was happy with her brand new style, and she waltzed through the playground with a great big smile. On Wednesday at school, when Annabel appeared, just a few girls giggled and a few girls sneered. Some girls told Annabel, "We love your big hair." "You look so great," they said to her. "It's so unfair. Oh, please, could you help us make our own bouffants?" "I suppose," she said, "if you really, really want." On Thursday, the braids and the ponytails were gone, and the girls had bouffants, each and every one. The boys filed in with their hair combed tall, and the teacher's bouffant was the biggest one of all. Annabel went home and slumped on her bed. "My bouffant's so boring, I want something new instead." She thought very hard with her eyes closed tight. "I know what I'll do, but I need to start tonight." She tiptoed through the house as she gathered her supplies. She'd be the queen of fashion with her next big surprise. Her plan was a secret, she wouldn't write it down. On Friday, there were 10 bouffants, but only one gown. The end. Let's draw one more conclusion. When I think about Annabel's actions, she wanted a hairstyle that would be different from her classmates. Then, when everyone copied her and had bouffants too, she made a gown to wear to school. I know that Annabel is doing these things to stand out or set herself apart from the group. So I can conclude that part of Annabel's personality or traits shown through the story is that she is creative and she strives to be unique. In today, we used story clues and our background knowledge to draw conclusions about a character's feelings, traits, and actions. Now you will read a story and practice drawing conclusions on your own.